What if Marvel just showed us the entire motivation of Doctor Doom without actually telling us what his real plan is? Because after watching this second Avengers Doomsday trailer, one thing is obvious. Doctor Doom isn't just the villain, he's the entire story. His past, his family, his magic, his rivalry with Reed Richards, his connection to the multiverse, and by the end of this trailer, Doom doesn't just look powerful and he looks unstoppable. So let's break down every major detail because Marvel may have hidden some massive Secret Wars clues in here. The trailer opens inside Doctor Doom's castle, and right away, Marvel gives us one of the most intimidating shots of Victor yet. Doom is sitting on his throne, and look at the size of it. This isn't just a throne, it's practically a monument. Doom isn't sitting there like a normal king. He's making a statement, but there's something even more interesting underneath him. The floor is glowing with strange green symbols, and that symbol is actually Doom's personal insignia. We've previously seen it during the Shanghai Light Show, and it was later shown much more clearly at SDCC. We've also seen the exact same symbol on Doom's gauntlet. And in this shot, it looks like Doom is literally channeling magic through the symbol, causing those green lights to spread across the floor. Even the throne has the same symbol. And behind Doom is another important detail, that massive green window. It's the same visual we've been seeing in the official Doomsday posters and countdown material. So Marvel basically tells us in the very first shot, Doom's magic is going to be on another level. Even the Marvel Studios logo gets redesigned around Doom's green aesthetic. Then we hear Sue Storm talking about Victor. She says Victor was always the smartest person in the room. And think about how insane that statement is, because Sue's husband is literally Reed Richards, the smartest man alive. Yet even Sue admits Victor could outthink everyone around him, and that actually fits the comics. Reed and Doom have known each other since their college days. Their rivalry has always been one of the most important relationships in Marvel. Doom constantly tries to prove that he's smarter than Reed, and sometimes he actually succeeds. But Sue says something even more important. Victor wasn't always like this. He used to be kind. He used to care about people, which confirms something huge. The Fantastic Four already have a history with Victor Doom. This isn't some random villain appearing out of nowhere. Reed knows him, Sue knows him, and their personal rivalry is going to matter. Now look at the room where Sue is talking. We see Magneto. He's bruised. One of his arms appears to be injured. Gambit is there. Steve Rogers is there. And several other heroes are gathered together. This looks like it takes place after a massive battle. And there's a strong possibility that battle is the Avengers versus the X-Men, because the first trailer established that the Fantastic Four, Avengers, and New Avengers will travel into the X-Men's universe, and the X-Men aren't exactly going to welcome them with open arms. The leaks have suggested that the X-Men are terrified of incursions and alternate worlds, so anyone arriving from another universe could immediately be viewed as a threat. That means this room could be happening after that confrontation. The heroes have already fought the X-Men, then Doom betrays them. He resurrects the Sentinels. The heroes defeat them, and now everyone is sitting together trying to figure out, what does Victor Doom actually want? And more importantly, how do they stop him? Then we get one of the most emotional images in the trailer. Sunlight enters through Doom's green window and lands directly on a massive tapestry. Doom is standing in front of it. We've already seen this tapestry in official Doomsday promotional material, but now Marvel focuses directly on the mother and child imagery. And this is where things get interesting. According to theories and leaks, this could represent Doom's wife and son, or it could actually be Victor as a child with his mother, Cynthia Von Doom. Personally, I think the mother and son interpretation makes a lot of sense, because Doom clearly has an emotional connection to this image. Look at his eyes. He's not angry. He's hurting. He's remembering someone he lost. And then we get the confirmation that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom will have glowing green eyes. That shot alone is incredible, and I honestly think this is going to be the moment where the audience starts sympathizing with Doom. Remember what happened with Thanos in Infinity War? Once we understood his past and his twisted motivation, a lot of the audience actually understood where he was coming from. Marvel could be doing something similar with Doom, except this time, we already know he's eventually going to become the monster. Inside the same room, we see Shang-Chi, Shuri, M'Baku, John Walker, and Namor. Sue explains that Victor lost everything he ever loved, and then she says, "I knew he was lost, I didn't know he was broken." That line may explain Doom's entire motivation. Doom isn't necessarily trying to conquer the multiverse just because he wants power. He may believe his family still exists somewhere within the multiverse, and if he can reach the right reality, he might be able to bring them back. That's where things become dangerous, because we've already seen what happens when someone tries to rewrite reality for the people they love. Wanda did it in multiverse of madness, Sinister Strange tried to save Christine and destroyed his entire universe, and Doom could be taking that concept to an entirely different level. If Doom can reach the multiversal throne, reshape reality, and control which universes survive, he could theoretically create a reality where his family is alive again, and that could ultimately lead to Battleworld. Thor is also sitting in the room, and he looks extremely disappointed. But why? We might get the answer later. Because Doom's plan isn't just about destroying worlds. It's about the consequences of saving one world by sacrificing another, and that could put Thor directly against him. There's another mystery here. Where exactly are all these heroes? Behind Thor, we can see books. At first, you might assume this is the X-Mansion, but that creates a problem. If the X-Mansion is destroyed during the Sentinel battle, this can't necessarily be the same location. So another possibility is that this is the Fantastic Four's building on Earth, and those books could potentially belong to Reed Richards. Either way, Marvel clearly wants this location to remain mysterious. Then the camera moves around Doom, and suddenly, there's someone standing beside him, a mysterious figure wearing a black cloak. And this is where things get crazy. Recent reports have claimed that Doctor Strange could appear as Boris in Doomsday, and some leaked images showed a Strange-related costume that looks extremely similar to what we're seeing here. If that's accurate, Doctor Strange could essentially operate alongside Doom the way Ebony Maw operated alongside Thanos. And honestly, that would be an insane duo. Two doctors, Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange, and both understanding magic on a level almost nobody else does. Of course, this character could also simply be one of Doom's witches, because the trailer has already hinted that Doom has multiple magical followers. So we still don't know exactly who is underneath that cloak. But if it really is Strange, this could be one of the movie's biggest reveals. Then Marvel shows us a destroyed New York. Obviously, this could simply represent the devastation caused by Incursions. But there's another possibility. What if this is Tobey Maguire's universe? Because according to the theories surrounding the opening of Doomsday, the X-Men could collide with Tobey's Spider-Man universe. The two realities would be on a collision course because of an incursion. And before the universes completely merge, the X-Men may actually destroy Tobey's world. Some reports have even suggested that the X-Men could deploy a planet-killing weapon there, which would mean this destroyed New York could literally be the final days of Tobey's universe. R.I.P. Raimi universe. Hopefully, Spider-Man survives. Then we get Reed Richards confronting Victor. Victor, did you do this? This is extremely important, because according to reports, Doom initially travels with Reed and the Fantastic Four. He may even arrive with them on their ship and appear to be an ally. Steve Rogers could also be traveling with them. But eventually, Reed realizes the truth. Doom betrayed them. And the interesting part is that Doom probably doesn't even see himself as the villain. He genuinely believes he's saving reality. He believes he's saving his family. He believes he's doing what nobody else is willing to do. That's what makes him dangerous, because he's not thinking, I'm going to destroy everything. He's thinking, I'm the only one who can fix this. Then we get another emotional shot. Johnny Storm hugs Franklin Richards, and I have a feeling this might actually be connected to the ending, because behind Johnny is an intense white glow. And in the comics, the creation of Battleworld is associated with this kind of overwhelming white energy. So this could potentially be one of the final moments of the movie. Franklin is also extremely important because his reality warping abilities could be exactly what Doom needs. If Doom wants to construct an entirely new reality, Franklin Richards is basically one of the most valuable people in the multiverse. Then we see Professor X and Magneto looking toward the sky. Both look worried, and this appears to connect directly to the previous footage where Professor X was watching incursions forming above them. They could be watching another universe approaching, or they could be witnessing another world being destroyed. Either way, something enormous is happening above them. The trailer also brings back several older shots. Steve Rogers with his baby, Thor with love, Loki, and these scenes seem to create a parallel. The heroes are willing to fight to protect the people they love. Doom is willing to fight the entire multiverse to bring back the people he loves. But there's another major theory. Reports have suggested that Doom's family's death could somehow be connected to the Avengers and Steve Rogers. Remember the time travel in Endgame? Every change creates consequences. Steve eventually creates another life for himself. Those timeline changes could contribute to incursions, and Doom may have spent years studying exactly how these events happened. He could know who caused what, and eventually, he decides someone has to pay. Then Loki appears. It's the same scene we saw previously where Loki appears at Steve's house. According to reports, Loki tells Steve that his timeline has become a branch that the TVA will eventually prune. He tells Steve and Peggy that they need to move to Earth 828, where they'll be safe. And Loki gives Steve a way to contact him. If true, Loki could be one of the biggest bridges between the Avengers story and the multiverse storyline, because Loki is currently sitting at the center of the multiverse. Then Then we see Shuri, Falcon, and Ghost, and shortly afterwards Cyclops appears surrounded by fire. This could lead directly into the optic blast sequence from the X-Men teaser. Cyclops could be using his powers to take down Sentinels, and this connects perfectly to the larger battle between the X-Men and the Avengers. Then Doom makes one of the craziest entrances in the trailer. He jumps from a building, flips through the air multiple times, and lands like a superhero. The speed is ridiculous, and this appears to take place in the X-Men universe, which would explain why we're seeing destroyed buildings and Sentinels everywhere. This could be the moment where Doom fights alongside the heroes, before eventually turning against them. Reed confronts Doom again. This time, he's furious. He demands to know, "Victor, answer me. Did you do this?" And Doom responds with one of the darkest lines in the trailer. "Every breath you stole, I'll make you pay for everyone." That line could have multiple meanings, because think about the characters we've seen repeatedly escape death. Professor X has died and returned multiple times. Loki was supposed to die, but instead escaped with the Tesseract and eventually became the guardian of the multiverse. The Avengers' time travel also created consequences that Doom may blame them for. So Doom may have done his homework. He knows exactly who interfered with which timeline, and he knows exactly who he believes is responsible. And then, we finally get the extended Doom versus Thor fight. Thor charges at Doom with Stormbreaker. He tells Doom that he's going to make him beg for death. Then he swings, and Doom stops the attack with 2 fingers, just 2. He casually flicks Stormbreaker away. Then Doom unleashes a massive magical blast from his palm. It hits Thor directly in the chest and sends the God of Thunder flying. Think about that. This isn't a random human Doom overpowering. This is Dr. Doom casually embarrassing Thor. And at this point, the question becomes, who can actually stop this guy? Then comes the money shot. Doom places his hand on the ground. Green magic spreads through the battlefield, and suddenly, the destroyed Sentinels start moving. Their eyes light up green. They're alive again. This is another massive indication of how powerful Doom's magic is going to be. And then, Doom stands among them, completely surrounded, and delivers the line, "Hell answers to me, for I am Doom." That line feels like a direct parallel to one of the most iconic MCU moments ever. Tony Stark, "I am Iron Man." And now, years later, the same actor returns, but instead of saying he's Iron Man, he declares, "I am Doom." That's honestly chilling. And there's another detail worth noticing. Doom's magic isn't always green. In several shots, it appears to begin with a much darker, almost black energy before transforming into green. And that immediately raises another possibility: death. We've seen death-related magic represented with darker visual energy before. So could Doom somehow be using or channeling a power connected to death? And remember Hela. In Ragnarok, Hela was able to resurrect fallen soldiers using her powers. Now Doom is doing something strangely similar with the Sentinels, which raises another crazy possibility. Could that mysterious Green Witch actually be Hela? In the comics, Hela has also been connected to Doom's story, so that connection is not completely random. And then there's the biggest visual mystery. Why does Doom appear to have 2 completely different looks? Could it simply be 2 costumes? Absolutely. But what if there are actually 2 versions of Doom? One could be Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom, and another could potentially be a Doom variant. And here's a wild thought. Could one of those variants somehow be connected to Captain America? The trailer shows Doom using some kind of metallic object while flying. Could it be Mjolnir? Maybe. Probably not. But if Marvel is playing with multiversal variants, a Captain America version of Doom would be absolutely insane. I'm not saying that's happening. It's just one theory worth keeping in mind. Then Thor lands in the middle of the destroyed battlefield, and all around him are destroyed Sentinels, which again strongly suggests we're in an X-Men universe. Thor charges Stormbreaker. Doom turns towards someone in the distance. And who could he be looking at? Shang-Chi is one possibility. The 10 rings could actually make him powerful enough to stand beside Thor against Doom. Captain America is another possibility, because if this is a multiversal battlefield, Marvel could be recreating the classic dynamic of Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man standing together, except this time, the enemy is Doom. Then Doom uses that strange black energy again. It starts dark, then turns green, and he uses it to bring the fallen Sentinels back. That immediately reminds me of Hela's resurrection powers, which makes the Hela theory even more interesting. Doom then stands among the revived Sentinels and essentially declares death answers to him, and the green eyes of the Sentinels confirm that they're now completely under his control. And honestly, the biggest surprise about this trailer isn't even the action, it's the tone. Marvel isn't presenting Doom like a traditional superhero villain. He's being filmed almost like a horror character. The lighting, the music, the green eyes, the throne, the magic, the destroyed worlds, everything about him feels unnatural, like something has entered the MCU that shouldn't be there. And that makes Doom feel much more dangerous than a simple supervillain. The first trailer introduced Doom. This one explains why we should fear him. It gives us his history, his rivalry with Reed, his connection to the Fantastic Four, his obsession with his family, his understanding of the multiverse, his magic, his betrayal, his ability to overpower Thor, and finally, his ability to resurrect an entire army. Marvel has essentially made Doom the center of the entire movie without revealing every part of his plan, and that's exactly why this trailer works. So here's my current theory. Doom genuinely starts the movie believing he's the hero. He sees incursions happening, he sees worlds dying, he knows people he loves are gone, and he believes he can fix everything. So he works with the Avengers and Fantastic Four. He helps them. He earns their trust. But eventually, Doom realizes something. something. There isn't enough reality left to save everyone, so he makes the decision nobody else is willing to make. He sacrifices entire universes. He takes the surviving pieces of reality and creates something new, Battleworld. And once that happens, the heroes finally realize the truth. Doom wasn't trying to save the multiverse. He was trying to replace it. And that could be the moment where the sympathetic victor we've been watching finally becomes Doctor Doom. And that's what makes this second trailer so crazy. Marvel didn't just give us more action. They may have quietly revealed Doom's entire emotional journey, from a broken man trying to save his family to the ruler of a completely new reality. But I want to know what you caught. Which detail in this trailer do you think Marvel is hiding in plain sight? Is the cloaked figure actually Doctor Strange? Is Doom really creating Battleworld? Could that destroyed city be Tobey Maguire's universe? And most importantly, does Doom actually believe he's the hero? Drop your biggest theory in the comments, because if even half of these clues are real, Avengers. Doomsday isn't just leading to a multiversal war, it's leading to the birth of a completely new Marvel reality.